Okay, so before we begin this unboxing and analysis of this reel, I want to give respect and kudos to Piscifun for making this possible. A couple of months ago, I had reached out to all the major reel companies and asked them if they could send me some reels to demo and review, and at which point when I was finished with them, I would send them directly back to them. And of the few companies that actually replied back to me, none of them wanted to send me any reels to test. And that's kind of disappointing, but at the same time, I can understand why. Because of the nature of my channel, where I get measured results instead of just guessing and estimating, a company wouldn't want their reel to be seen as losing to a competitor. So I kind of understand that. So major kudos to Piscifun. Now Piscifun did not, they were not one of the companies that I originally emailed. They actually contacted me and said that they could send me this reel to review. And they said, you know, give an honest review, which I was going to anyway. And I did tell them, because of the nature of my channel, that I'm going to be putting this reel up against other competitors. And they were fine with that. So a big thumbs up to Piscifun. And if you like what you see, and if you like the specs on the reel, the looks, there's going to be links in the description to their Amazon retail site and their actual website for the company. So here we go. Where are my damn scissors? Okay, here we go. So the reel that they wanted to send me was the Perseus. And while I was waiting for this reel to come in, I looked on YouTube to see, and there were a couple of people who did reviews already. So here's the box. Go with family. All right, let's see what this reel's all about. Okay, now this is cool right here. You actually get a reel cover. Now the only reels that I ever got with reel covers cost at least 400 bucks. So yeah, that's nice. All right, let's look at this thing. You get a little key here. Key tool, I should say, and some paperwork. Let's take a look at this reel cover real quick. That's a major bonus. Because if you're OCD like me, you don't like to scratch your reels up. Wow, it's nice neoprene. It feels to be high quality. So that's a major bonus right there. Okay, let's take a look at this thing really good before we go into the specs and features. Okay, so right there, you can tell the drag star clicks. It's got a nice blue color. It's got a two-tone spool. Okay, so overall this is a good-looking reel. It looked good online, and it looks good in person. Okay, so let me take a couple of moments here to go over the reel and give you my thoughts and go over the specifications. Okay, so as expected at this price point, you're going to get a graphite frame and side plates. Now this is got a matte finish, but you're going to get a metal drag star that clicks. And I believe the cast control or spool tension knob actually clicks as well. It's kind of hard to turn, but it does click. And I believe this is made of metal as well. Feels like it's metal. Now the knob is kind of small. It could have been bigger, but the fact that it clicks is really nice. Of course, you get a metal handle that's I guess been cut out to reduce weight. If you take a look at it, it's swept and it's really long. Now, according to Piscifun, this is 4.33 inches long. So I'm gonna measure that later just to find out how many millimeters that is. Now the thumb bar, it feels a little stiff, but it is a positive engagement. It takes a little bit of effort to press it down. Now there is some mush there, as you can see. But it does feel better than some other thumb bars that I've mentioned previously. There's the external adjustment. Okay, so this thing has 6 bearings. So that means it's got 5 ball bearings and 1 roller bearing. If that'll focus. Well, you get the picture. There we go. It's got a all-purpose 6:3-to-1 gear ratio, which seems to be a trend here. And it's got something that is pretty impressive for a $50 reel, and that's a dual braking system, centrifugal and magnetic. So I went on Tackle Warehouse's website to try to find the cheapest reel that I saw that had dual braking, and I think it was a LEWS that costed like $140. So this has a pretty high-end braking system for under 50 bucks. So let me show you guys that braking system here. I think you open it up. Yeah, you just push this latch there. Okay, it's kind of tough to open. Maybe I'm twisting it the wrong way. Okay, that's kind of inconvenient. To open up the side plate, you have to push this, but then you also have to push it down, which your hand is there, your thumb or whatever finger you used. So let's take a look at the brakes here. There's your centrifugal brakes right there. It's got 6 pins apparently, and then your magnetic adjustment right there. So while we have the side plate open, I'm gonna bring out the measuring devices and get some weights and measurements on this thing. Okay, so I got the measuring devices out. Now Piscifun lists this reel as weighing, I believe, 8 ounces. So according to the scale, it's actually a little heavier at 8.12 ounces. Now you're probably wondering why it's so heavy for being a graphite reel. And I believe that's because it comes with a brass gear, a brass main gear, I should say. So for all you guys that like brass gears for durability and smoothness, that's one of the perks of this reel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh that spool to see what this thing weighs. I wonder if anyone's ever weighed a Perseus spool before. So I just might be the first. Take a good look at it. It's got nice two-tone color. Okay, 18.98. So roughly 19 grams. Now there's no bearing on the spool, but it's kind of heavy because the centrifugal brake mechanism is attached to it. Now let's see, it looks to be a 34, at least a 34 millimeter spool. Let's see what this device says. Okay, so look at that. This actually has a 36 millimeter spool, more or less. So just to recall, the Black Max had a 33 millimeter spool, and the Bass Rise has a 34 millimeter spool. Now this is a whopping 36 millimeters. So this thing can probably cast heavy lures really far. So let's go over the braking system real quick. A lot of you guys who have dual brakes probably familiar with this, but to activate and deactivate the main centrifugal brakes, you just push or pull these little pins. So I'm deactivating them right now, but if you want to activate, you just pop them out. It's kind of hard to tell just unless you really look to see which ones are activated. But the magnets, what they do is they act upon this metal portion of the braking hub. So in my eyes, the main adjustments are going to be made with these pins, while the fine tuning is going to be made with the magnets. So let me see how many adjustments are on the external dial. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so there appears to be 24 or 25 clicks. So a total of 25 or 26 total magnetic adjustments. And as you can see, Piscifun wisely put numbers around the outside, and they also put a red marker there so you can easily tell where your external brake settings at. So that's a thumbs up right there. Now Piscifun says this thing is rated at 18.5 pounds of drag, and that's a huge number, and they achieve that by using multiple carbon discs like some of the more expensive reels. Now this thing is kind of hard to put back on. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. There we go. I'm just not used to it. So 18.5 pounds of drag due to multiple carbon drag washers. Now if you look here, see that silver screw right there? That metal key device that I had shown you guys before. This is, I guess, a lube maintenance port. Now in a lot of reels, you'll find it down here, but this one is up here. So basically you just take this end of this tool and unscrew. And it unscrews pretty easy, so that's good. And this end here is if you want to take the handle off. So you just unscrew this and then you squirt in some grease. Okay, so I'm going to make an attempt to get a measurement on this really huge handle. Move this out of the way here. So, in case you're wondering, longer handles give you more leverage and just transfers more of your cranking power. So according to this, you're looking at about a 100 millimeter handle. So that is a long handle. The knobs are pretty comfortable, they're EVA. and it's relatively smooth. It's pretty smooth for being a sub $50 reel. Now, will it stay smooth? Now that's the question. And I can't seem to get this thing to flex no matter how much pressure. So once again, graphite frames are getting better and better every year. Okay, so as you know, I like to pit reels against each other, especially from rival companies. So I guess you can see where this is going. We're gonna have a big three-way $50 reel shootout with the Piscifun Perseus, the Abu Garcia Black Max, and the Shimano Bass Rise. But before we do that, before I put these guys through the standardized testing system, I'm going to get out on the water with the Perseus and see how it casts, see how it retrieves. It looks to have a kind of a smallish main gear. I'm going to check out the power and see what's up with it, so be on the lookout for that. Now, once again, the links to get this reel and for more information on this reel are going to be in the description. I'm not sure how long that $42.99 is going to last. So if you like what you see, you do get a whole lot of reel for the money. A lot of high-end features that usually come with more expensive reels, like the dual braking, the reel cover, metal drag star, a long handle, clicking spool tension, and a big 36mm spool. So it's a lot of reel for the money. So kudos to Piscifun for that. So if you want to check this reel out, go to the links in the description. And thanks a lot, guys.